Hello. I don't know whether this is a different podcast or not. So if this is a Detour Quarry, we're live from Mount Iwafune Quarry. Live. Yeah, this is a live broadcast. We're streaming. You're not there, are you? You've taken a break to go get something. Hello. I have no idea if this is a new podcast or if this is a Detour Quarry. Then we are coming at you live from Mount Iwafune Quarry. Yeah, this is a live stream actually. Yeah. My name is Red. I'm joined by Mel.
What's the dog doing?
What is the dog doing? It's been doing all sorts. Komugi is like a perfect creature.
Yeah, I was thinking about how like she does not grow, but I think that's okay.
That's okay. That's she's not a character for growth. Like there are other characters for that. She is a mascot and she's like there to be a dog, to be a funny cartoon dog. Yeah. And she has her like own part in the narrative, obviously.
Yes. She does play an important role in the finale, I think it was.
Yeah, but it is not to have like, I mean, she has arcs in the show, like early in the show.
Not confused with a different show that ends.
Not to be confused with a different show that ends. This is this show is better than a lot of the shows we've watched for our podcasts.
I think that's you know, that's just sometimes your relationship with a podcast.
Yeah. I like Wonderful Precure a lot. I think it's really cool. So I was not keeping up with this show for the longest time. I'd watched like the first couple of episodes and kind of like I'd been too busy and I was like, yeah, I'll catch up eventually. And then it eventually got to like there's like a quarter of the show left and I'm like, okay, I gotta watch this show now.
I had stops and goes. Like I had some areas where I had to really catch up and other areas where I keep up more consistently. But
So but if you're not familiar, so we done our thing where we have watched the yearly Precure. The first time I attempted this was with maybe the most boring Precure imaginable.
Yeah, we did not do Spoilercast for that one.
No, we kind of did. You did.
I gave my spiel.
Yeah, you gave your spiel about it, and I was like, yeah, sounds bad.
Yeah.
Reverse Nanoha strikers. And then there was Hero Girl Sky.
Soaring Sky.
Spelled Soaring Sky, but it's a pun on Hero Girl.
Yeah. Appropriately, I think our assessment would be that show had the wings of Icarus.
Yeah, it like tried a lot of like brand new cool stuff and just didn't have it locked down necessarily entirely. Like it was weird that we got to like the end of the show and my favorite character was the normal girl on the team and like one bit part bad guy.
Yeah. And just
and
like
their relationship.
The thing they tried to do with the villain was just kind of like pulling punches in a way that kind of neutralized the coolness of whatever you're going for.
Yeah, and then we hit Wonderful Precure, and what I had heard from you before like really getting started on Wonderful Precure was that this was a show that maybe had like less ambition than Soaring Sky Precure, but was like way better at the fundamentals of making a Precure.
Yes, it's just like consistent and competent in what it does.
I absolutely agree on that. I would take it a little bit further in that I think that this show does have ambitions in like a different way. Like this is not the first Precure to have like a boy Precure. This is not like a Precure with like an adult Precure in it. This is
not the first Precure to have a Precure who drives a Hummer.
Right. But like there are ways that it does feel like narratively ambitious in the sense like there aren't bad guys for the first half of the show.
Yes.
Like at all.
I think that was like a point of contention for a lot of people was like it felt like, you know, nothing ever happens core. because there weren't villains for half the show.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna say the Nothing Ever Happens episodes of Wonderful Precure, really good episodes of Precure.
I think there was a degree to which I was like, it was nice to have the villains by the time they showed up, but I was like still enjoying the show before that point. Like I didn't feel the urgency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that like first half of the show, which is so Wonderful Precure, is about a dog called Komugi and her owner called Iroha. Yeah. And Komugi gets, with the power of Precure, she learns to talk
and becomes a person.
Also becomes like a human being, a human girl. Who, you know, and she then that's her first level transformation. That's not even her final form. She then transforms into a Precure as well.
This is just like Princess Tutu.
Is it? Is this what Princess Tutu's about?
You should watch Princess Tutu.
I should watch Princess Tutu.
It's a really good show.
And then Komugi, Iroha turns into a Precure, and they do Precure stuff. Their specific goal is there's a place called Nico Garden, and there's a butler sheep called Mei, who's great. Who's great.
He becomes bros with her family.
Gay sheep. Hugely homosexual sheep.
Dame.
And he tells them, okay, so there's these eggs, right? And they got monsters in them, and they used to be regular animals. They used to be magical animals that lived in Nico Garden. Because some of them are more magical than others.
Because the town is Animal Town, which is a town where everyone loves animals.
Everyone loves animals in Animal Town.
Animal Town specifically said in English.
Red, how do you mean that? Yes. They love animals in Animal Town. Don't ask questions. Don't worry about Animal Town.
It's like Sweet Peaker, where it's like this is the music town, or like Alamode, which is like this is the dessert town.
There was like very early in watching Wonderful Precure, I tweeted something along the lines of, because there's a character in Fresh Precure called Buki who is like, it's fun. She's like weirdly kind of like sedate, like the less cartoony of like the other girls, and then she's on her own and she just starts flirting with animals immediately, and it's like she's like, there's like a white tiger, and like she has the power to talk to animals, and she's like, oh my, about this white tiger. And I was like, Buki, do not let Buki near Animal Town under any circumstances. I've now watched Wonderful Precure, and I think Buki should retire to Animal Town. I think she'd be very welcome.
Yes.
So they love animals in Animal Town, and Iroha especially wants to be friends with all animals, and so they're gonna save these magical animals from being bad guys. They're like
Iroha and her best friend Satoru, who is like an animal nerd.
Yes,
he's important. You can't forget him.
Yeah, don't forget him. So this is like the first step where I was like, okay, I think there's like more ambition to like Wonderful Precure necessarily than I was expecting, in terms of like its respect for what the form of Precure is, because like the very first season of Precure, they are not purifying the bad guys with their beams. The beams are destroying the bad guys, and then they're transforming back into objects. Like the moment you hit max heart Precure, the beams are purifying things. They're purifying, and like they're healing beams. They're Dragon Ball Z beam shots, but they're healing. Wonderful Precure kind of takes this serious. This I've also been enjoying this in Heartcatch. Heartcatch is engaged with the idea that they are healing beams.
Yes. The thing being like a point of contention is like one of the few seasons where it's not really fisticuffs, and it's more like just like they're more like quote unquote chase battles was the thing where like they're chasing the around.
Because they want to catch the animals and purify them, heal them, let them be the animals they used to be. It's
kind of funny because like Satoru, because he's the animal nerd guy, but also there's a show for children, is like, this animal has this quality. That means it's maybe a tiger or maybe a horse. I'm like, well.
And you look at it with your eyes and you go, well, yeah.
And then I have to remember that this is literally a show for like 4-year-olds.
Yes,
who will maybe unfamiliar with what a horse is.
Yeah. And I think the fact going to the point of like they're not fighting the bad guys really, I think it is pretty cool in this show because it opens up a wider variety of what the action can actually be in the show. Because, you know, you have chase things and you do have like confrontation. You have like not quite fights, but like engage kind of fights, but like they're not punching things. And then you can add the stakes of like there is a Precure that wants to fight the bad guys. And I think
would you be doing the cat?
Yeah, the cat Precure. There's a cat in this show.
I've alluded to this specifically when she showed up in the previous podcast, but obviously it was big because you were watching.
Yeah. There's a cat Precure. She wants to hurt the kaiju because not the kaiju, the bad guys.
Listen,
it's the same thing.
There's a monster every week.
There's a monster every week, and because they might hurt her owner, who is Mayu,
who's just like
who is the best who's ever lived.
Yes.
And Mayu's like this shy girl who's like not sure how to make friends with people. She just, you know, but she treasures this cat that she saved from snow one time and named Yuki.
Speaking of not knowing the concept of horses, I just want to show you this mimetic screenshot of from Something Happiness Charge.
What the fuck is this? Do horses still exist? What are you talking about?
I don't even remember the context of this, or even like an incorrect translation. It was just so funny.
Oh my god! Take this kid to Animal Town. He'll find out.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's fine. And then you get these are the last two cures. Well, no, they're not. But for most of the show until the last two episodes or the last episode. These are the last two cures.
You got the arc of
Mayu and Yuki.
Yeah, Yuki's being overprotective, and Mayu wants to open up and like make friends. And it's wonderful, like the show.
It is. It's good. And once you got the gang together, this is a show about the gang hanging out and having little funny adventures. You make there's some cartoon characters. You put them in a situation.
These are kids who have class and go to school with classmates, and their parents are on screen.
Fucking right. That's fucking right. I've been saying it for literal years. Go to school. If you're a magical girl, you gotta go to school. It matters.
Yeah. I feel like maybe I've seen some of my friends like say that maybe the students could have been in the show more. But I think it's
I think they make a decent showing.
Yeah, and also when you get
a drama episode.
We compare it to like Hiragara Sky. It's like an oasis in the desert.
What was their school? They had a sports day episode once, like one of the best episodes of the show. I was like, that was great.
Yeah. We had the episode. Yeah. In this one, like Mei becomes best friends with Iroha's parents, and it's like good because they're like on-screen presence.
Yeah. Both of cause Mayu's parents are in this show as well. They've got their own distinct things.
Yeah, Mayu's mom's great.
They got their shit going on. Oh yeah. This is a comedy Precure. This is a comedy show. When it is revealed to the parents that Komugi and Yuki can like talk, and they're like, oh wow, that's crazy, and then they get on with their lives. And then because we've already done that reveal with one set of parents, we just can't be fucking bothered to do it with another. And so when Yuki talks in front of Mayu's mum, she goes silent for a second and then goes, Yeah.
It's really funny because like Maya was just like, I need because they're going to the summer festival and they're like, I need my yukata for a spare yukata for my friend, my friend, and then your mom's like, oh, which friend? And then Yuki's just like, oh, me, and just transforms.
Yeah. She's like, oh, that's yeah, and Maya's like, aren't you surprised? And her mom's like, yeah, I was.
It's good.
Ridiculous show. It's so good. A lot of my appreciation for this show is just that it's a comedy about a bunch of stupid cartoon characters hanging out. This is amplified by the appearance of Mayu's shipping arc.
Yes, because what happens is like she breaks her shell and becomes friends, and immediately taps in on the fact that Satoru has a crush on Iroha and becomes the world's greatest wingman.
Might I say that this is Mayu's most lesbian behavior?
Even though it's for straight people.
Is shipping her straight best friends. I don't know. There's something. It's pretty funny.
I need to get my favorite version of this. Because what happens
is this when she realizes that they're going on a date?
Yes.
What?
I'm in the chat area so we can watch it. Because they actually do follow through and like so.
Yes.
Okay,
this was another aspect of the show. Yeah.
What?
Mayu rules.
Yes.
Mayu's so the pinnacle of character design, however, this clip has reminded me is Daifku.
Yeah, he's great.
Daifku, also a perfect creature.
Yes. But yeah, like what happens is Mei accidentally lets slip that Satoru reflects Iroha. And they have to deal with it in the next episode.
Oh, of course, because Mei is in love with Satoru, and so he's trying to sabotage.
Yeah.
Which it's funny that I'm so down for a Precure arc where a gay relationship is undermined by a straight one, but you have to understand it's really funny.
This does remind me that the discourse I alluded to in the Ultra Q episode that I recorded.
Yes, so presumably there were lots of people getting a little bit tugging their collars about the shipping between various animals and people.
Yes, the people, like I think the Precure subreddit was like, you are not allowed to ship the animals with their owners.
Oh, wait, the subreddit was like, my friend, the shipping is coming from inside the house. Like, what are you doing?
Do you see how Yuki and Mayu interact? It's so real.
There is an episode, or there's a couple of episodes early on where there's an arc about not that one. There's an arc about how the most beautiful thing in the world is for a girl to put another girl on a leash.
Yeah.
It's like the slow motion reveal of like their superpower power up of like the leash connecting the two of them, and Komugi's like, holding hands is like being on a leash. I'm like, this show goes crazy.
It's one of those things where it's just like, the target audience. You just don't have to think about it that much.
Yeah, you don't. You just
Also, they do become human, and can talk. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. It's fine. It was just kind of like, I was just kind of, I'd been having like a weird thing watching like current Precure, where I was like, will I be able to recognize like the Precures that are gonna last? Like, will I like who watching like a current like Monster of the Week, like a Kamen Rider or something, who like, can you actually tell which ones are going to stick around in the consciousness?
Yeah.
And watching Wonderful Precure, I was like, okay, for a certain subsection of people, this one isn't just going to stick around in the subconscious. This is going to shape people. People are going to be changed by this show.
Like, I've seen someone say like, listen, this is just going to be the first Yuri couples for some people.
Yeah. This is gonna be someone's like that Fox Robin Hood movie.
Yeah.
As well.
He's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So there's that aspect of and I'm the fact that the subreddit were like, you can't know, not allowed. I'm like you can't, then don't watch the show. You have to be like covering your eyes to not see what this show is.
Yeah. Head in the sand.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's probably like other episodes we can talk.
I'll go for it.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna start talking until ideas came to my brain. That's how I podcast.
Okay. There was like one episode later on I want to talk about that's good, but I also feel like at some point we gotta segue into the fact there are villains.
Oh yeah, we can. So yeah, you've got like this first half of the show where like the gang is all getting together, and then they have some like cartoon funny adventures, and those continue later into the show. But halfway through, we deal with most of the garu-garus, which are all the animals in the eggs. We collect all the Nico animals. And we summon Nico, who is like a tiny little unicorn, who is brat-coded, and she is immediately funny as well. Her I just getting really angry when all the characters are gathered up. Like, yeah, we know everything. Mei told us everything, and she's like, Mei, what did you do? And he's like fearing for his life. Fantastic. You were saying?
Oh yeah, just like I think it's funny that her like human form is like more majestic than Her Majesty.
This is true. So yeah, and then we get bad guys. Bad guys get introduced. Who is the main bad guy? He's a wolf man.
Yeah.
And this is where I was like, oh, maybe Wonderful Precure's got juice as well, because it's like the main character is a domesticated dog, and like the villain, the bad guy of the show, is a wolf.
Yes.
The bitter ideological rivalry.
But importantly, specifically the villains are Japanese wolves, which are extinct.
Right. So this is like real shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because like the Japanese wolves were hunted.
Go for it.
The Japanese wolves were hunted to extinction in like the Meiji period, basically. And so like that's part of like the motivation of the villains is specifically that like, oh, we are extinct now.
Right.
And like that's a thing
yeah, I was operating under the assumption that this was like a story about like a specific. This was like, oh, these specific wolves in this mountain were wiped out, and it was kind of like, to part of me, I was like, well, this is a metaphor for. Let me engage my embarrassing communism brain about the children's show for tiny 4-year-olds. This is about like indigenous populations getting wiped out, getting cleared out of their land.
Now,
but this being now it is kind of also that, but also it being about like real extinctions of wolves. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, so now the thing is, like, those two things do often go hand in hand. Like, there's like an overlap in like the clearing out policies of animals and also like doing that to people.
Yes,
and of course Japan did this to the Ainu.
Yes, this was kind of like my main point of reference.
Look forward to hypothetical Detour Quarry in the future.
Hypothetical. It's a long manga.
Listen. We gotta figure out how we're gonna do that. How we're gonna do Detour Quarry at some point. But
you gotta watch more westerns.
Yes. But yeah. The point is like, yeah. This is
you should watch High Noon. Oh, anyway, continue.
Yeah. So yeah, this specifically is like the Japanese wolf as like an extinct species. And like is like the motivation of like the villains is like, we are extinct because of humans, and like we're like angry species, like, you know, it's ghost of vengeance, but also like contending with like like Iroha has like a "Are we the baddies" moment, which is good.
She very literally, she does literally look into the camera and go, "Are we the bad guy? We're the bad guys, right?"
Yeah.
Now obviously this is a Precure, so naturally we don't you know, wipe Animal Town off the map and go, "This is good."
Yeah.
That's not what happens.
Yeah. There's definitely a good idea for like,
I wasn't. Yeah.
You can't escape you know, liberalism, right? But too much.
Especially in show for tiny children. Not going to happen. But as like one of, because, you know, this is a category of TV show. This is a TV, we have to contend with, you know, every communist knows the pain of contending with this type of TV show that exists.
Yeah.
And there are ones that I like and ones that I don't. I think this is one that I like, and I think it's in the specific. Yeah.
I think it like threads the needle.
Go for it. Yeah, it's in the specifics for me of it being a ghost story. Yeah. I think is how it really pulls through.
Go on.
Because it's something. It's in terms of it being like vengeful ghosts. Is like a little more sort of like this is something to be sad about. In a way that it can't be fixed by this ghost getting vengeance, in a way. And obviously, you know, vengeance underrated in situations like these.
Scar is correct.
The whole thing on it being a ghost story and it being like this guy he has having this Naruto flashback where it's like he's torturing himself to try to avenge the wolves that he loved.
Yeah, because the thing of reveal, we first think that like the villain Gaon is like the leader of the wolves, but we find out it's actually a guy who is friends with the leader of the wolves.
Friends.
Yes. Oh, you know, and he was just like, you know, a guy named Subaru who was like, you know, he had a journal, and that's how I found it out. And he was like, he on behalf of the other wolves, like, was disillusioned with humanity and wanted to get revenge of the wolves.
And his like the other part of this that kind of contributes to, I think, this working is that that, you know, there is literally like an afterlife kind of. Yeah. There is like a spiritual afterlife, and
like, well, one of the monsters of the week is a T-Rex.
One of the monsters of the week is a T-Rex,
and he's just hanging out.
There is like, yeah, there's like a spiritual afterlife, and also that being like, it's being a vengeful ghost sucks. Like that kind of thing, I think, is contributing to me being like, all right, I'm not like, you know, I like this show. You know, I think the ending stuff still hits.
Yeah, and like we have the two other generals, like Zakuro and like the other one?
Torame.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah, they're good. They're fun. Like Torame is just like, he just wants a good time. Like, he's just so handsome.
Torame especially, I think because we had there's a great semi-two-parter. There's an episode where to indicate that Wonderful Precure is entering the end game, they have to introduce the idea that your dog is going to die before you do.
Oh yeah, this is the episode I was gonna. This is the episode I was talking about. That was good. Which also has the T-Rex.
Yes, fantastic episode.
Yeah, because it was like
Because
what happens is like there's these recurring elderly women, who are friends with like Iroha, and like, you know, her parents run a vet shop.
And like a few episodes earlier, or is the dog like even from earlier than the calendar episode?
I forget, but I think it's probably been around.
But yeah, I think the first time, like, because like within memory that I could remember seeing the dog was in the calendar episode, because so this is like a very old dog that is around, and like they introduce it in the calendar episode, and I'm like, oh, cute old dog, and I'm like, you know, part of me is like, well, obviously this show isn't. Well, this show for tiny children isn't going to talk about the fact this old dog is going to die.
And yet.
And yet.
But yeah, you get like, they want to do something nice for the dog. I think it's like, they're like, oh, we're gonna celebrate an anniversary or something. But then it gets sick because it's old, and like
old as hell.
And like what happens is like Torame like summons like the ultimate monster of the week, a T-Rex, who they can't fight it and beat it, and the only reason like they sort of like quote unquote win is like Torame just is like sees the old woman struggling to take her dog to the vet, and he's just sort of like, well, I can't do this, and like
I can't get in the way of this.
Yeah, he calls off, and then we get the scene at the end where the dog dies, and like everyone's like really bittersweet, but like it breaks Iroha, and she's just like fucked up the next episode.
Yeah, and I think interesting part of this that I kind of appreciated was like it's Iroha that like this affects, and Komugi is literally fine. Like the idea that a dog is going to die like doesn't really affect Komugi that much.
Yeah,
she's really upbeat about the whole thing. And I think I really
they even have Iroha being like fucked up in the next episode preview for that.
Yeah. And like Iroha, there's also a degree to which Iroha is fucked up by how much Komugi isn't fucked up about it.
Yeah,
and it's that hey Iroha, did you know Komugi's gonna die?
Yeah,
sucks.
And this comes after like an episode where like they find Komugi's original owner, and they have to like the idea they made separated is something, which is nice.
Yeah,
they meet a nice guy at a retirement home, and he's like, I think she's good with you, but. And we can meet up and like and stuff,
and this whole like dealing with death thing is like set up for like the end game where we're dealing with the fact that these wolves died a very long time ago, and these are like vengeful spirits of these ghosts.
Yeah, and it's like
the next episode, Torame dies because he passes on.
Yeah, and it's just sort of like. Yeah, we see them being hunted down by humans, like not graphically, but like it is a thing that is like present in the plot.
Mm-hmm. And so Torame, like, I really liked the scene of Torame like running with all of them, and then him like going at the end, him being like, "What's it like to get hit by that big beam, that like healing beam you do?" That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like Torame.
I do think it's funny they do the same thing to Zakuro, but then she stays around. It's like, listen, it's the second to last episode. We'll keep you around. You may as well.
People like you. come on. You're fun. Yeah. And then like the big like kind of finale hits, and it's big event. The Subaru reveal hits, and
we find out he's like the world's first furry. That's definitely not true. It's like 1900s.
He's trying. Listen, he gets like reunited with Gaon at the end of the end of the show, and like it's like literally they say "I love you" to each other, and like him, Gaon, and Zakuro are now like a furry polycule.
Yeah. Torame is also there.
Torame is also there.
Torame is like the Goemon to this Lupin's and he got a Jigen situation. Featuring Fujiko.
Yeah, featuring Fujiko. It's really good.
Have I ever told you like how I conceptualize their relationship in Lupin?
Please enlighten me.
Yeah, so it's very simple. So like obviously Fujiko is like Lupin's on and off flame, but crucially Zenigata is Lupin's boyfriend, but Jigen is Lupin's husband.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Goemon is there.
Lupin playing Fuck, Marry, Kill goes crazy.
Yeah, Goemon's just there.
Goemon's just there. Yeah, I think this whole finale is really good in terms of like
Subaru goes
one
like
of these...
my revenge is like turning Animal Town into like the woods, which I don't know, maybe there is like environmental things we could be doing that
maybe listen, maybe he needs maybe he's not too much, maybe he's right just enough,
maybe degrowth is necessary under communism, but
perhaps
who's to say?
There's a lot of embarrassing communists who would say no.
Well, listen, there's a lot of chauvinism we gotta weed out.
Yeah. It's fine that I can go to the shop and just buy a banana. There's nothing fucked up about that. That's
Yeah.
I just don't have to think.
Yeah. Don't think about why it's so cheap.
Don't think about why I can afford shit that doesn't grow here.
Yeah. Don't think about who grows it and whether they can buy bananas in their own country.
Also, under no circumstances should you think about this outside of like altering your diet. Like that will change everything. That's like that one thing, like flexing your power within the market, that'll affect real change.
Yeah. Exactly.
For real.
Exactly.
Anyway, yes, shows for tiny children.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like as like one of these of like a villain who's right but too much, I think this whole the sadness of the fate of the wolves and the fate of Subaru and like him blaming himself for the death of Gaon, I think it's all pretty good.
Yeah, I
think like as character stuff, it works.
Like at the most, the Precure go, well, you don't want to hurt the people who are here now, but otherwise they don't like push back against him in terms of like, like they want to protect the people who are there, but they don't like push back against like they don't say like Subaru, you're wrong. And they don't hate him.
The actual true like the ideological rebuttal that doesn't happen in the episode, it happens in like the epilogue where Satoru is like, yeah, so I guess someone had to build the shrine and like put the book there, which means that someone treasured the idea that the wolves should be remembered, and then Animal Town grew out of that. So if anything, Animal Town was built by Subaru and Gaon. And I'm like, was it? Is that true, Satoru?
Well,
it's fine, it works. I'm like, I can roll with it. But also really is that definitely true, Satoru?
I trust a town in Japan, noted capitalist colonialist country, to be consistently good about these things.
It's funny watching this show about like all the animals that we own and we love them, and I'm thinking about the most significant thing I know about pet ownership in Japan is it's way more normal to have like crazy pets. Pecora, the VTuber, owns a like slow loris that is commonly referred to by her fans as the fucking monkey. And for ages I thought it was a joke. I was like, oh yeah, it's funny that, Pecora would own a monkey. Yeah, definitely she would. And then one day I saw a photo of the thing and I was like, is that a fucking bush baby? What the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm expressing some doubts towards the idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw someone like raise issue with the fact that there's an episode that's like zoos are good. And like that's like
there is an episode about the precious memories at the zoo. There is, yeah,
featuring the Hiragara Sky Cures for some reason.
Oh yeah, they're in that episode. They rock up and they're there. I saw Blue Girl first. Sora, that's her name.
Yeah.
And I was immediately like, "Where's your wife? I like her."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they're fun characters, but not listen. My Iroha and Satoru, like it's weird to watch like a magical girl show and be like, yeah, I think the girl and the boy getting together works for me. I think it's cute.
Nice. It's cute.
I think they're a good couple.
Like there's an the episode where after Iroha has to just be like, I don't know how I feel about this. But also they have to explain to Komugi what the fucking different kites of love are.
And Komugi like later continues to thwarting the Precure subreddit, clearly continues to be like, yeah, maybe I'll go on dates with Iroha as well.
Yeah,
because I love her too.
Yeah. When she holds my leash, it's like holding hands.
It's like holding. It's like I if you haven't watched Wonderful Precure, I need you to understand. There's a shot of when they power up by like Iroha holding Komugi's leash, and when she grabs the leash, there's like a burst of love hearts. It was such a crazy. I was like, this goes so hard, it's unreal. I can't believe I'm seeing this. Wonderful Precure is fantastic.
Yeah,
I had a great time.
It's just a good show. The haters were wrong.
The haters were the existence of haters is both unsurprising and baffles me. I truly don't. I keep calling this a cartoon because I truly like at some point in like 10 episodes in or something, it clicked in my head that I was like, oh, this is a morning cartoon show where you turn on the TV and you watch the characters get into hijinks.
Yep.
And like it's not, it has its own like narrative ambitions, but like it is doing like fundamental kids TV stuff that I think something like Hirogari Sky could have benefited from doing a little more than it did.
Yeah, I think we can like. Sometimes you spin too many plates and don't know how to put them down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes the main girl is in the CIA and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, she's in the CIA for like 2 episodes, and then she's just like not going to school in Japan.
Yeah. And the consequences don't matter at the end of this show in terms of like the animals can talk again at the very end.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to be transforming, which like presumably they will in like when they return for like crossover movies.
Yeah. But yeah, they're.
Oh, speaking of which, I haven't watched that movie. I can watch the Wonderful Precure movie, right?
I don't know if it's subbed yet.
Okay. Well, when it gets subbed, I will watch that.
If you're wondering why Satoru and Daifuku just become magical boys this episode, in the end, they do that in the movie first.
Oh. Okay. When Daifuku becomes a magical boy, and like I just hear his voice from the other. I was like, I paused the video. I got up. I walked around the room a bit just to be like, hell yeah,
Yuichi Nakamura.
I had to work it out of my system a little bit. It's so good. The running gag with Daifuku is that he's a little rabbit. He's got a silly little cardigan on, and he looks kind of funny. And then Komugi translates what like Daifuku is saying for Satoru sometimes, and whenever he translates, Daifuku sounds like a fucking cool guy.
Yeah. And then you find out he's fucking voiced by Graham Acker.
So good. And he's there's like an early episode where Komugi's like, Satoru, what is a real one? Like this is like the English translation of the Japanese equivalent. He's like, what's a real one? And Satoru's like a cherished friend. And she's like, okay, Daifuku says you're a real one. And I'm like, if I had a pet rabbit and it described me as a real one, I think that would fix me.
Yeah.
I imagine a pet rabbit saying, yeah, you're a real one. I was like, hell yeah.
I think most people really wanted Satoru to become a magical boy, specifically because it meant Daifuku would also be a magical boy who could talk, and they wanted that.
Yeah.
It turns out it's really good.
It's really good. He's when Mei Mei is floating away at the end, he's like, Daifuku Aniki. Like, yes. Oh man. Wonderful Precure is amazing.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Yeah. I'm so glad. Like, I feel like going into the season, there's a lot of reasons to be trepidatious, both with like the direction they're taking it. Like sometimes it's always trepidatious to like if they don't have fights. And Here Goes Sky was kind of a mixed bag, but this is just
yeah. I ultimately fall down on like the not having fights just meant there was like a real variety of action in a way that I hope they, even when they do resume fights again, they take that and like move forward with it and like include that variety as we go. Because I have watched Precure where it felt really like there was a perfunctory fight.
Yeah.
And I feel like this kind of opens up the option to be like, does there have to be? Yes, like some Ultraman episodes. And this kind of opens up the idea that if the fight feels perfunctory, maybe you can do something else. I think that's good.
I try to remember. There was one episode where they transformed without having a fight, but I forgot which one that was. But it happened.
Oh, I think it did happen. I can't remember which episode though.
I like the episode where they recruit Yuki to be like in the play.
Oh yeah.
I think I have this screenshot from it, which I forget the context, but it was I think it was like Yuki. I think it was Mayu training everyone to knit.
Mayu, a standout character from this show.
Wonderful character.
It was at the very end when it's like Zakuro is feeling in despair, and Mayu is like, but you love him, right? You love Gaon.
Yeah, she's
like it re-engages shipper mode.
Truly one of the greats of this franchise.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if I have much more to say.
I think we did a good job. Like, we can't remember every single episode, and
we can't just go episode by episode and do the whole thing. No,
but we got the highlights.
And had a great time.
Yes.
And next week there will be a new Precure. There will be an idol Precure.
Yeah,
they've bit the bullet and they're doing idols.
It took them a while because I feel like
they held out a long time. Because
I feel like the big idol anime
wave
shows for kids was like Pretty Rhythm and Aikatsu were like 2013, 2014, and I think some friends like showed me that you still see some influences like that. Like Happiness Charge has like different outfit based forms, kind of reminiscent of my Aikatsu cards. So it's like not that like it's not like they didn't respond to it, but like they didn't actually go full idol mode. But the funny thing is, I've heard that for whatever reason, kids really like I Hoshino.
Huh?
From Hoshinoko. And that may be an influence. Just
okay.
Completely divorced from the actual source material, just like as a mascot. I would need to like double check. I've just like seen people who are like well versed in like magical media talk about this, and like maybe more in turn like
that's hilarious.
So the idea that Oshinoko produced Idol Precure is just one of the funniest ideas to me.
Oh my god.
But listen.
Whew.
I Hoshino is a good design.
Well, that might be it.
Yeah.
If you listened through this and you got spoiled and everything and you still haven't watched Wonderful Precure, if you've ever felt like you're a dog but also you can be human too, I think you should watch Precure.
Yeah.
I think you should watch Wonderful Precure.
Yeah.
I think it's a show made for you.
Maybe go to Fur Affinity too. You might find like-minded people, but you know.
Yeah, you might find some kindred spirits. This is a good show. I like the characters. That's all you need to do, really.
Yeah, that's like the core thing. You need a good cast, you need a good supporting cast.
Mm-hmm.
And then
All right.
they have a hijinks for the week, and then there's a monster, and they transform.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
And then at the end, a man and a wolf love each other very much.
Yeah.
That's optional, but
it's optional, but
all right. That might be it for this podcast. I do think this is going to be a separate podcast, just because the idea of being able to push this on people who don't want to listen to anything about fucking Ultraman does appeal to me. So yeah. Let's do plugs. If you want, we have a show called Ultra Q where we have talked about Precure before, but not not in like a separate episode. But we mostly talk about Ultraman. Well, maybe 50% of the time we talk about Ultraman.
Listen.
If all we talked about was Ultraman every week, we would go crazy.
Yes.
This is why would lose our minds.
This is also why Detour is good.
Yeah. So you can follow our all our shows really on Twitter or on Blue Sky. I'm more and more probably just Blue Sky.
I mean, I don't think you posted
we're still on Twitter.
Our pod is on Twitter. I'll plug it there until it dies, basically.
Yeah,
but
I haven't posted there in a minute.
I curate my spoilers more for Blue Sky than for Twitter. Because I'm like, listen, I don't gotta worry about Red being there.
Yeah, true. So you can follow us on Twitter. We are at @ultra_Q. That is at @ultra_QUE. It is a joke. It's about the show Ultra Q.
Yeah. I don't know how I came up with that pun. It just it
was good. It was good.
It's like one of those things where it's like we were racking our brains coming up with something, and then once the idea came, it's like, well, I don't know how I could have came up with anything else.
That has to be it. Yeah, that's the one. And then there is on Blue Sky we are at @ultraQ with no underscore. Same deal, same spelling. That's the appeal of our shows. The other appeal of our shows is you will never misspell the word Q ever again.
Yeah. As demonstrated on our normal mapping podcast.
As demonstrated on your normal mapping podcast. It was I think it was a GGP or something.
It was like a GGP bonus episode where they're not talking about any podcasts, but they were talking about the podcast plans for the future.
Yeah. QUEUE. All right. Mel, your plugs.
At Dear Crowns on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can also send an email at ultqpod@gmail.com.
All right. Brad is also a member of our podcast. He's not on for this because for one, he's playing fighting games, and two, he doesn't watch Precure.
No.
I don't think he cares. It's very funny that as a fixture, he is out for the finale of Precure for the rest of time.
Yeah, it's just the dates line up, just the way that our anniversary lining up with the end of Ultraman days is just a coincidence.
True. So he's got a YouTube channel. He's at Be Invoked on Blue Sky. All right. That's us.
Yeah, look forward to me talking about...
we don't yet.
Look forward to me talking about the first episode of Idle Precure next week on Ultra Q, presumably.
Yeah, presumably.
But also next year for the actual Spoilercast.
Yeah. Unless, I drop it.
Well, hopefully it's good.
Hang on, I gotta sneeze.
God damn, what a sneeze.
You said that and I thought I hadn't muted.
No, I just you muted. I just like, it was just taking a while.
Yeah, it was 4.
Yeah.
Whoa. Me and my sister both have inherited my dad's sneeze, which is like high impact.
Have your parents watched Inspector Lewis?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
My mom's huge fan.
I specifically mentioned the show in my post specifically so you could see it.
Yes, you posted about Lewis and I was like, this is red bait. I know it is, but I'm taking it.
It was weird hearing that song where I was like, oh, that's the song from Solaris. Except it's not actually from Solaris. They just used it.
The reason we're meandering here is because we don't have a sign off for this. We are packing up shop.
Let me open up the final episode just so I can get a show appropriate. How do they end these episodes?
I don't know. How do they end these episodes?
No, I don't know gaming. I don't know. Let's Wonderful, I guess.
All right. We gotta send like a group of like multicolored teenagers over there, gathered up, ready to fight a bad guy.
Teenagers with attitude.
Yeah. There's some guys setting up some explosives behind us.
Yeah.
The bit is that we're at Mount Iwafune Quarry.
Yeah.
Audio's strangely good here. It's like it is the acoustics. It's almost like I'm in a room.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Yeah, later. Wonderful.
More